I mean, vulnerability really is the key to any good relationship. You can't have an intimate, meaningful relationship, if you think about it, without being vulnerable.
Did you push record?
Thank you so much for tuning into our second act with Paige and Silka. Today, I am so happy to welcome Tami McVay back to our program. Tami, thanks so much for joining me again.
Oh, thank you. I'm really glad to be here again. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, Tami and I, we did several segments with Tami a few months ago. We'll link to those. By way of introduction, Tami is a business and lifestyle strategist, and she talks about and helps people live their best lives. So we've had her on before talking about recreating life after 50. And we're Facebook friends. We've become Facebook friends. And you had a post the other day that really prompted me to want you back quickly, especially now. And that is, you were exceptionally vulnerable, Miss Ex-Marine. You obviously are a very strong woman. You influence so many people. I think people look to you, to be strong and have the answers that they're looking for. And I found that it was really great the way you shared your vulnerable side. And that's what we want to talk about today. The difference between weakness and vulnerability.
Yeah, absolutely. I found that, when you're really confident in who you are, that when challenges happen and you get knocked down a little bit, you're emotional, that it just makes you human. There's nothing wrong with that. And that doesn't change who you are and what you value. And so to reach out and ask either for help or just to share with others, it really builds that connection because people realize like maybe they're feeling the same way and they're not alone. And so to see somebody that's so strong do that, it makes it feel okay to start sharing themselves.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I really did. And when you read up on vulnerability or just kind of throw yourself into it a little bit, I mean, vulnerability really is the key to any good relationship. You can't have an intimate, meaningful relationship, if you think about it, without being vulnerable. That goes obviously for your romantic relationships as well as friendships. So why have we come to perceive vulnerability as weak? And what is a good balance?
Well, I think that over time, we have different things happen to us. And so we start to, be guarded. Being a Marine, that was something that I had really struggled with because they teach you to shut down your emotions so you can do what needs to be done. But then as I got older, it wasn't serving me anymore. And so I had to get really comfortable with starting to share. And I think that, women, because we tend to be more emotional at times, we're more apt to show our feelings, we're more apt to cry, that all of a sudden you feel like if you cry, then that's a problem. And that makes you weak when you're trying to, sometimes be in a man's world if you're in a career.
Well, and then I suppose it goes double for a man. We've done programming on, emotional intelligence and connecting to your emotions, topics men just love. But one of the, I suppose, tips, I guess, I've offered is that when a man does show vulnerability, like for dating or something, when you first meet somebody, and it's like, no, women want everybody to be strong, and they don't want a vulnerable man, and I disagree. And I think that's in this segment I really like to explore with you the power of vulnerability.
Yes, I definitely agree, especially with men. I've been fortunate that I've dealt more and more with veterans that deal with PTSD and some of their struggles. And like I said, they teach you to shut down those emotions, but they never teach you how to turn around and deal with those emotions that come back up. And so more and more, these men are showing their vulnerable sides. And I think it's powerful. I think it's a powerful example for other men to realize it's that same thing, that really strong person that can show this. Somebody that they admire and have respect for, and then realize it doesn't change who they are. It doesn't change the way they look at them. And then to your point about a woman watching a man, have this emotional moment, I think a lot of times it's natural to want to try to fix it. Like, men try to fix things for us, and at the same time, we try to fix things for them too. And sometimes it really takes a lot of restraint to just be a good listener. Like, they just need to feel like they're being heard. We all have that, we want to be heard.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, to me, when somebody opens up and shares something that is personal, that is not something that you would share necessarily with the world or at the dinner table. I mean, I perceive that as a huge compliment in their faith in me, which is then, brings me closer and, grows that relationship. And I think maybe, I mean, do you agree with that?
I do. And I feel like it's this sacred moment of trust that comes up. And the trust is the critical part, because they felt safe in that moment to share with you. But one thing that I can see be a problem for people is that we all have somebody we trust besides that conversation. And so if you turn around and tell that intimate thing to somebody you trust, you just violated that intimate moment. And so I think it's really powerful to realize, like if you had a really close guy friend and he shared with you, and then you tell your best friend, obviously somebody else you trust, but that doesn't necessarily mean the guy would trust her. And so we have to be careful not to do that, and to just recognize just that intimate moment.
Yeah, no, I absolutely. Otherwise, it turns into gossip. Yeah. No, I guess what the point I'm trying to bring across is that for people who are hesitant to be vulnerable or show their emotions, especially men, you are actually really engaged, or have the ability to really engage when you do. And you might be surprised at how you're perceived and how much deeper your relationship can go. That's not to say that, and we're talking to women maybe here, you can't let it gush out all the time.
That's true.
There's nothing worse than somebody's always, oh, here's what's wrong with me today. So that's not what we're talking about, right?
Yes. Well, and I think when we're at this place where all of a sudden we're making that decision, like, should I be vulnerable or should I not? We're actually robbing that other person of being vulnerable as well. So if you're always have it together and showing confidence, and then all of a sudden they would never share with you because of that. But if all of a sudden you have this moment, and then all of a sudden they have something similar, then you connect on a deeper level, and you will never have that if you're both, being the strong, guarded, I have it all together person.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I've told you this off camera, Tami. That's one thing that I really like and respect about you, is that you are a very strong woman. We'll link to your background of being a Marine and everything that you've accomplished. But you don't, you're not afraid to show your vulnerable side. I get just tired of, there's so many coaches out there that just, they have all the answers, have it all together. And I just want to, no, it's not like this. Show people that it's not a perfect world. And I think you're doing a better service than trying to make everything perfect. Well, Tami, we're coming to the end of the segment now. I want to make sure that everybody knows about your upcoming adventure.
Yes, in March, I'm taking a group to Portugal, and we're going to be biking along the coast. It'll be absolutely beautiful. And I just believe in that total immersion. To get out of your comfort zone and do something you've never done. In the middle of the week, we'll have some training and great discussions all throughout the week. Excited about that.
Well, we will link, of course, to all of your information, so anybody that wants to get in touch with you directly can do so. And thank you for our discussion today. I think that it'll hit home for a lot of people, as it has to me, how important vulnerability, or being able to be vulnerable, is in life after 50. So Tami, let me hold you over. We have a couple more things to talk about, and we'll see you on our next segment of Our Second Act with Paige and Silka. If you haven't already done so, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. The button is right here. Just click on through to YouTube. And when you see the little bell right next to the subscribe button, hit that too. We'll notify you every time we post a new video. See you next time.